We begin this morning at the Vatican, where Pope Leo XIV is spending his first full day as the new leader of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics.
As we celebrate this morning, I invite you to recognize the marvels that the Lord has done, the blessings that the Lord continues to pour out upon all of us. Through the ministry of Peter, you have called me to carry that cross and to be blessed with that mission.
In an historic move yesterday, Cardinals elected Chicago-born Cardinal Robert Prevost as Pope Francis's successor, becoming the first American pope in the Catholic Church's nearly 2,000-year history. We have team coverage for you on this morning. CBS News papal contributor Candida is here with me in Studio 57. Our Natalie Brand is at the White House with a look at the politics of the new pope. But let's begin at the bottom of your screens there with Chris Livesay in Rome. Chris, good morning. As the Catholic world awakes to its first ever American pope, what has the reaction been where you are to what really has been an historic election?
Good morning, Errol. Well, it depends on who you talk to, but generally speaking, it's ecstasy, because no matter where the Pope comes from, the Catholic world wants to have its Holy Father. You can look at the sede vacante, or the period in between when Pope Francis died and until we got a Pope, as sort of being orphaned, and now that period is over. But I went to the North American College. It's a seminary, a place for seminarians nearby, when the news was announced that an American had become the first Pope. And as you can imagine, they were overjoyed. I mean, these are kids. I mean, late teens, early 20s, studying to become priests, and they were cheering, whooping and hollering. You could just feel the joy bouncing off of them as they came into the college. And then this morning, when I dropped my daughter off at daycare, I was talking to a lot of the Roman parents, so local Italians, and they were saying, "Oh, brace yourself, Chris. You've got a real job cut out for you now." But they're really happy. I mean, laughing about it as well. Kind of playing off of the political situation as well. You know, Donald Trump, President Trump is a controversial world figure, shall we say. But now that there's an American Pope, they said, "Oh, let's see how this plays, Chris." You know, so people are kind of tongue-in-cheek, happy about it, coy about it. But overall, it doesn't really matter what kind of person you are. People are happy to see that there's finally a Pope again.
Yeah, and well, let's dig into what those Italian parents were warning you about, as they say, brace yourself, because what more do we know about Pope Leo, and what direction is he likely to take the Catholic Church?
Well, you know, we will find out. But I mean, if his past is prologue, you know, many are suspecting that he's cut from the same cloth as Pope Francis because of his time and devotion to Latin America, namely Peru, where he's a dual citizen. So he's expected to, you know, follow in the same mold. I mean, we know that he loves migrants and the poor, and these are issues that are very, very dear to him and very visible in the places where he has served. When it comes to social issues, he's still Catholic, right? There's that old saying, you know, is the Pope Catholic? And yes, you know, Pope Leo is still Catholic. In his homily today, he talks about defending Christian values. He lamented the fact that, you know, they're often mocked, and a lot of baptized Christians are becoming de facto atheists. So he seems like he is the type of Pope who is going to be focusing on the importance of Catholic doctrine. And this is an area where Pope Francis was often criticized by people on the right or the left of being kind of wishy-washy, that when it came to the doctrine, you didn't know exactly where Pope Francis stood. And so people are getting the impression that this Pope might have a better grasp on clarity when it comes to the Catholic Church.
All right, Chris Livesay in Rome for us, just past 1 in the afternoon there on a massive day. Chris, thank you. Let's now chat with CBS News papal contributor Candida. She's also professor of theology at the University of Birmingham in England. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here with us on such a big day. I want to start by understanding the significance of the name Leo. What does that mean, and what did you make of his first address?
Good morning. It's exciting to be here.
I bet.
So the name is really important. It's our first clear sign of the kind of Pope that he's going to be. And his predecessor, Pope Leo XIII, is the architect of Catholic social justice. He spoke about workers' rights and the importance of caring for the poor. And so we should expect more of that from Pope Leo. But we have to bear in mind that the first Pope Leo, Leo the Great, was also a great intellectual who clarified church teachings. So we might see that. And he's also someone who spoke up to and brokered peace with secular leaders. And so we might see someone who's going to be a peace broker in the world.
And what jumped out at you from his first public remarks?
Yeah, this was really interesting. So he did call back to Francis and spoke appreciatively of him. He also spoke about synodality, which was about sort of decentralizing Catholic power, something that Pope Francis was really interested in. And he talked about walking with those at the margins and the suffering. And so we should expect a pope in the mold of Pope Francis.
And what do you make of the relatively short time it took to place these votes, and that the so-called front runner, the favorite, Paraline, who was very close to Pope Francis, did not win? What does that mean to the rest of us?
Well, that was very surprising. You know, when it turned out it was such a short conclave, we all thought, well, it must be Paraline, the front runner, the favorite. But it wasn't, and that shows that his support was a lot softer. I think what hurt Paraline was he was so closely associated with Pope Francis, whereas Pope Leo has had this kind of meteoric ride. He's not a career bureaucrat. I think a lot of this is about appeasing the conservative wing of the College of Cardinals, who were unhappy with certain parts of Pope Francis's papacy. And it really shows that they did come to a decision very quickly around someone who's going to be a pope for the entire church.
And he has not, Pope Leo the XIV, been as welcoming in previous statements to LGBTQ people, to marriage when it comes to that either, correct?
That's correct. This is one of the issues on which he's been more traditional, more conservative, you might say, although this is church teaching. And I think this is one of the reasons that he was elected.
Candida Moss, great to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.